Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you and show you exactly why you need a recipe binder to store your favorite recipes. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jen. I'm a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids and I post a lot of videos on this channel about food and family and home and lifestyle. So if that sounds like something that interests you, I hope that you stick around. So this is actually a video that I've been putting off making for quite some time, only because I felt like it might be a little bit boring, but I'm hoping to share some practical tips with you. And I've had so many requests for it, so definitely want to give the people what they want. So this is my recipe binder. It is not fancy. It is a 3.5-inch binder from Walmart that has clear page protectors in it. And I first started a recipe binder when I moved out on my own many years ago. It's been almost 20 years now, but I've had different binders over that time. I started out with a smaller one and finally ended up on this 3.5-inch one, and I've decided that I'm not going any larger.
How about the Phyllis-Angela dispute?
You already did me.
That's what she said.
So the purpose of this binder is to store any recipes that I print off of websites or that I tear out of magazines. I prefer to have printed recipes rather than looking at my phone or my iPad, and so this is something that works for me in terms of keeping the recipes that I want to make over and over. Another thing that I'm going to be sharing in this video is some of my favorite recipes. I'm going to pick the top 10 recipes out of my binder, and I'll put links to those in the description box below, and these will be the recipes that I make most often out of this book. So if you've been waiting to do this for yourself and you have a drawer full of papers that you need to organize, don't delay. You will be so glad that you did it. Think of it as our recipe box of the new century, right? Do you guys remember your grandmas and your moms having recipe boxes full of like index card sized recipes and flipping through those? This is sort of like that, except it's kind of different today because instead of writing down recipes and sharing them, we typically print them and look at them that way. Let's go down to my desk. I'm going to take you inside my recipe binder. Just a warning, this is not fancy or super organized in any way. It's just something that works for me, and I wanted to kind of share some of my tips with you. All right, so here's a look at my binder. It has not fallen apart yet, which I am very impressed about. Like I said, it's 3.5 inches, which is the perfect size for me. I will find one like this and link it down below. Obviously, these aren't hard to find, but I know some people just like the convenience of being able to click the link and get it on Amazon. And I'll also link some of my favorite page protectors too. The one thing I do want to mention is that I would not recommend these particular dividers that I have, because as you can see, they're actually shorter than the page protectors. So if you're going to buy dividers, just make sure that you buy some that go far enough out so that you can actually use the tabs. Also, a disclosure, there's probably going to be like a mashed potato smear or like cookie dough on one of these pages, and that's just how life goes when you're cooking, right? So my process is for recipe keeping is that I print recipes from my computer. Like for example, I printed this one right here, which is a video that I have coming up soon. I will not put them in the binder until I have made them either once or twice and determine that I want to continue to make them. So I do have a drawer down in my kitchen where I basically just store my loose recipes, and once I make them a couple times or once and decide that I want to put them in the binder, that's when I do that. I don't put them in my binder until I'm sure that I like them. There are some instances where I haven't had a chance to make something and I know it's going to be really good and I'll put it in here, but for the most part, no, I don't put recipes in here until I've made them and I know we like them. The nice thing about this particular binder is that it has a couple different pockets on the inside cover, and this is where I do keep some of my recipe cards. And then I have a few that are cut out from magazines, but like a lot of these recipes, like this one is from my grandma and it's in her handwriting, so I don't want to lose that. Some of them are from friends or my family and just different things like that. Like this is a recipe from my grandma that's in my mom's handwriting, so you know that's something that I want to keep. Now, what I could do is I could glue these to a piece of paper and then put them in the page protector. But I kind of just like having the cards, and I don't really have them organized in any way because after I've made these so often, I kind of just know, you know, which recipes I have on cards and then which recipes are actually in pages in the binder. So just a quick note there. And actually I probably need to get a new binder because look, this is ripped right here. But this sort of like, I don't know, this sort of stuff is like really sentimental to me in like a weird way. I'm like one of those people who likes eclectic things. Like I had someone ask me once why I didn't put a lot of spices in my cabinet, like all with the same jar and everything like that. And I'm like, I actually like the eclecticness of all the different jars, and I sort of like the eclecticness, if that's a word, I think it is, of all these different recipes. So that's my reasoning for that. So the other thing I want to talk about is how you divide your recipes into sections. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can divide them up by meal type, you can divide them up by way of cooking, or you can divide them up by protein if you're a meat eater. And I kind of do a mix of both. So the first section in my recipe binder is breakfast. And so any recipe that I would make that could be described as breakfast goes in this section. And you can see I have quite a few. So a couple of the recipes that I always make in this particular section are these Instant Pot egg bites. I know I've shared these on my channel before. I make these pumpkin chocolate chip muffins a lot. So basically in this section, you know, I have pancakes, muffins, different breakfast casseroles. I have an Instant Pot yogurt recipe, more muffins. Do you see a theme? I was also thinking I wanted to make some coffee cake, so I may pull this recipe out for the sour cream coffee cake. I've made this crustless quiche a lot. This is actually an example of a recipe that I haven't made yet, but this is from an America's Test Kitchen magazine from Cook's Country. It's English muffin bread, and I've always wanted to try to make that. I just haven't yet, so I kept that in there. This is a really good blueberry scone recipe from Cook's Illustrated. So that is the breakfast section. Another thing I wanted to mention is that if you have one of these books made up, you can also use this for meal inspiration. So for example, if you don't know what you want to make for dinner, just pull out your recipe binder and go through these and see if you have any inspiration from items you have, you know, in your freezer or pantry. So the next section that I have is appetizers. And yes, I know I could get pretty dividers and label them and all of that, but I've just used this so often that I know which sections are which. And I don't really need a lot of fluff in here because I basically just need it to be functional. So I have different like salsas and like a soft pretzel recipe, spinach artichoke dip. These pokey sticks are really good. They're cheese sticks. BLT dip, I made that once and it was good. I haven't made it again. Buffalo Chex Mix. See, on this page, I did actually put some recipe cards in here. So, I mean, it's sort of like a scrapbook, right? That's why, I guess that's kind of why it's like sentimental to me. It's also really fun if you print off emails that people send you of recipes, because then you can kind of see what the date was they sent them to you. Like this one was sent to me December of 2006. That would have been actually like right after I got married. So it's just kind of funny that I've kept these that long. This is also my favorite hummus recipe. I've made several videos on that, so I'll link one of those down below. Delicious. This is another recipe that I love. It's this cranberry jalapeno dip with cream cheese. And then I have a blackened seasoning recipe back here. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that in there. I haven't made that yet, but I kind of just threw it in there because it was laying loose in the drawer and I wanted to clean it out. Another thing I want to mention is that make sure that you go through this every so often. I would say I probably go through it 2 or 3 times a year and just find recipes that I either don't want to make anymore or haven't made and I want to get rid of them, and then I just take those out and throw them away. That makes room for more recipes. It's kind of like the concept of your closet, right? So like every time you get a new piece of clothing, you get rid of one. Otherwise this would just become unmanageable, right? And I do want to have like a large collection of recipes, but I also want it to be manageable. So this next section is salads. So there are several different recipes in here that I use a lot. I also have like dressings in this section. These refrigerator pickles are really good. I made those on my channel before. Mediterranean tomato salad is really good. That creamy garlic salad dressing is good. See, this is Thai chicken Buddha bowls. I guess that's not really a salad, but it kind of, I don't know, when I made it, it reminded me of one, so that's where I put it in here. This blue cheese dressing is good too. So that is kind of this section. There's not really a lot of you know, too many recipes in here, but enough. I actually made this farro herb salad on my channel before with salmon. That ended up being really good. And then another thing I want to mention too is that always make notes on your recipes, because one of the things I tell myself is like, oh, next time I make this, I'll remember that I needed to add sugar or add honey. And you never do. You never remember that. So write it down. Like for example, on this recipe, I wrote the chicken was so tender, it was very sweet, maybe would be better with onion and mustard added, like Dijon mustard. On this, I made it with salmon. I added a teaspoon of honey. So that's another good thing about having lots of space to write like this, is that you can make notes on it. A lot of times I'll write like if the kids liked it, if Adam liked it, what I served it with, and that will kind of jog my memory the next time I go to make it, to see any substitutions or additions that I want to make. Okay, so the next section I have is soups and stews. So this has, like, this is a low carb crock pot pizza soup that I've made before, chicken and corn chowder, a chicken gnocchi soup, tomato soup, broccoli cheddar soup, and you can see too that I do have some spaces in here for recipes if I want to add more. This slow cooker Mexican beef stew is really, really good. I would recommend that recipe. It's by Melanie Makes. Yeah, so not too many recipes in that section either, but that's how I have that organized. The next section is beef. So this is kind of where I have it organized by protein. So I've seen some people do recipe binders before where they'll maybe organize it by like slow cooker meals, instant pot meals, skillet meals, oven meals, but it makes more sense to me when I'm cooking to organize it by the type of protein. And that's because that's kind of how I think of the foods in my freezer and pantry. For example, if I go in my freezer and I see that I have a bunch of beef I need to use up, then I can go to my recipe binder and say, okay, I have beef. What do I want to make from this section? So these are beef tacos. I've made those lots of times for you guys before. This Park City stew is another favorite of ours. This goulash is really good. That's a Paula Deen recipe. Made rights, I haven't made those in a long time. See, I haven't made this enchilada casserole meal either, but since I had room for it, I just went ahead and stuck it in there. This is another favorite of ours, this cider beef with mashed potatoes. Drip beef sandwiches. Yeah, so that's the beef section. And then the next section is pork, and that one's a little bit smaller too. I don't seem to have that many pork recipes, but obviously I'll have room for more if I get those. This pork stroganoff was good, and you can see that I wrote on here that the kids liked it. So, or mashed potatoes or noodles. So like this is something like I would never remember that, right? If I was just looking at this, I would never remember that. So that's good to know. And obviously that's something that I could make because apparently I haven't made it for 3 years. That's interesting. Okay, and then the next section I have is chicken, and this one is probably a little bit larger. We tend to eat chicken a little bit more, so I'll just give a flip through here. This is actually the Thanksgiving turkey recipe that I've made for many years. Adam's mom wrote this out, and then she also wrote the zucchini bread recipe out. It's obviously all on one page. I should cut that apart and put it put it in a different spot. I have gotten some questions about what we're gonna do for Thanksgiving this year. We are not having people over. We're just gonna have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner here at home, but I'll definitely be sharing that with you guys. Another thing too is that if I have meal kit recipes that I wanna make again, I just go ahead and punch them with a 3-hole punch and put them in here. Most of the recipe cards that come with like Green Chef are 8.5 by 11, Home Chef. The Every Plate ones are smaller and you can just slip them in. But I do like to save these too because there are recipes that I want to recreate. This is another favorite recipe of ours, this turkey meatball stroganoff. I know I've made that for you guys before. You can make it in the Instant Pot. It's really good. So yeah, and you can see that I have some space in here too. So that is the chicken section. The next section I have is seafood. So this one has shrimp recipes, salmon. This one's probably a little bit smaller too. There's a cod. The shrimp scampi stuffed shells is really good. That's a Pioneer Woman recipe. It's kind of a lot of work to make it, and it's super rich, but it's worth it. It's a delicious dish. And then you can see here, I did label that one, but look, you can't see it outside the tab. But this one is sides. So usually in this section, I'll put sides, but then I also put vegetarian meals. So like, for example, this manicotti, I could probably have a section with vegetarian meals. I could do that. I don't know. This is how I do it, and it works. It works for me. Here's the cheesy potatoes that I make all the time. This is the stuffing recipe that I make at Thanksgiving, the sausage and herbs stuffing, tomato sauce, cheese enchiladas. I love those. Yeah, so that is this section. Here's another email from 2006. This one's from 2008. Those are recipes from my mom. And then this was actually a recipe that I wrote down and stuck in here. I don't think I've made this yet. This rice, bean, and cheese bake was actually a recipe from Shelly. Do you guys remember, if you guys watch Shelly's Home Life, she doesn't do YouTube anymore, which makes me sad because I used to really enjoy her videos. But yeah, that's a recipe that she always made a lot, with basically you layer refried beans and rice on top and then put cheese on it. It's really good. And then the last section I have is for desserts. And so you can see that I don't actually make it that complex. I don't have that many sections. I could probably refine it a little bit more, and that may be something that I do later. I'm not sure. I don't have this in a sleeve, but these are recipes that I've printed off. I actually made this one, this vanilla bean cheesecake. OMG, it's so good. It's a lot of work, but it's so good. This is a salad recipe, a pink cloud salad from Adam's Aunt. Pumpkin bars, I haven't made those in forever. Oh, this is a chocolate lava air fryer cake that I made for you guys in a video. That was actually really good. I want to make these. Monster cookies. Oh, pumpkin roll. I should make a pumpkin roll. Those are super fun to make. See, you can see that I'm like going through this and I'm like, oh, I should make that. I haven't made that in a while. This is another magazine recipe from Cook's Country, and I've made these cherry cheesecake cookies a lot. They're delicious. I usually make them at Christmas time. Okay, so this is one of my most loved recipes. I'll show this to you guys. This is my sugar cookie recipe that I use for Christmas cookies. And you can see there's like flour. There's like flour all over here. There's probably vanilla on there. I should definitely wipe it off, but this is the recipe that I use for sugar cookies and icing. It is the best recipe. You can see also that there's flour or whatever in here. I don't know. That's just how we roll. Oreo truffles, I make those at Christmas. So yeah, actually I think I want to make some apple crisp this week, so I'm gonna take that out. So yeah, that is basically my recipe binder. It looks like I have some more dividers back here that I could use. So anyway, it's not fancy, but a lot of you guys have asked to see it. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I would definitely encourage you to start one of these if you haven't already. Another thing I wanted to say is that this is also something that you can start for your kids or a niece or a nephew if you don't have kids, or even just someone in your life that you'd like to give a gift to. I think this would be a super fun gift idea, and I actually plan on making up one of these for Kira and or Connor as they get older if they express that they like to cook. I think that would be so cool to get a recipe book like this from your parent or someone special in your life. Another question that you might have is, what about cookbooks? Yes, I still have cookbooks, and typically with my cookbooks I'm just using like sticky notes on those. If there's a recipe that I make a lot, then I'll put a sticky note in there, and I actually write directly in my cookbooks, so I don't have a problem making notes in those. I don't really ever try to resell them, so that's not an issue for me. All right, so that is going to be it for today's video. I hope that you guys found this somewhat helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them down there. Otherwise, have a good evening, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.